Go on that whole, how do you train an AI to do something that's never been done before? You can't. So if humans were really good at helping other humans with mental health, I would say, yeah, AI would be a perfect way to step in. I know right now there's a lot of effort around how we can use language models, and that's what ChatGPT is. We call it a language model. I think the unfortunate part is no one really knows, even as humans, how to help other people.
We have time trackers installed. I use Hubstaff for my team. This is to know who's going to be the terrorist here, right? Who's going to just waste time, get paid, and not really do their part in work. Do you have those systems in place, and how do you check if someone's reliable or not?
What we deliver to our clients is reliability. The problem that they face today is, if I need to find a business partner, a vendor, an outsourcing partner on the other side of the world through Google, how do I trust that company? We cannot deliver reliability without being reliable ourselves.
They have little tiny models for everything. When you hear a big tech companies talking about AI, what they're really talking about is the machine learning or neural nets. The idea of having one AI that does everything is kind of more distant future type work. But right now, it's just one simple task. And if you think, well, my car drives itself and that's like a million tasks, they have little machine learning projects, one to detect a stop sign, one to detect if there's like a deer in front of your car.
What are some of the good and legitimate AI softwares out there that you hear a lot about and you feel like, oh yeah, that's a pretty good AI tool to use?
One of the first big ones is recommendation engines. Anything around email lists, that's actually pretty solid as well. So those are the two big extremes. You have recommendations, emails, networking stuff that actually is very well vetted. And then you have the hyper-focused trace promises that aren't probably bad. Then you have the third and final category, which is ChatGPT, GPT-3, which is you hear people saying, we have AI that can help write our newsletters. That's here. That's now. That's working.
How did Mindstone come to be? Who thought of this?
I was frustrated by the British education system, which, like the education system in much of the Western world, is badly equipped for the job that we need it to do. It doesn't prepare people for the world of work. It doesn't prepare people for university. It doesn't help people to become self-starters and independent thinkers. And so I was looking for a way of extending my influence beyond the classroom and also doing something about these underlying problems. Now, I met Josh, who's a serial entrepreneur, and we got talking. And he was thinking about his next mission, his next goal, and he wanted to do something around learning. And what really got us excited together was this idea that learning and education are completely separate things. And the tools of education are bad tools for learning a lot of the time. And let's focus exclusively on learners, not education.
Is the AI capable today of doing therapeutic AI? No. And I think it is a good solution, not the best solution. Of course, it's better to have a friend who knows you, your context, and those deep friends. But with a machine, it's going to learn over time. It can do some things, and it can be certainly at times better than a lot of people. The goodness of an AI not only is able to do it without judgment, has endless ability to listen. And is the AI going to be perfect? No.
People just need to remember one thing. Am I reliable? Am I reliable? Am I reliable? So in our hiring practices to begin with, we check, the backgrounds and all that. That's one thing. There's a minimum there. What I really emphasize and what's really important to me is ultimately, we give people chances. Very clear objectives here. So I don't believe, for instance, back to your point, I don't believe in time tracking. I don't care if you work 1 hour or 100 hours. It doesn't matter to me. If you get the job done with the right quality, based on how you committed it, you're reliable. That's great. That means you're consistently delivering according to what you're supposed to. Great, you fit in perfectly. And that's why I'm saying the team evolves and changes. It's because we also give chances to a lot of people. And we ultimately assess them very, very clearly. We're very upfront about this. And we are very decisive in moving forward. Like the moment we see great potential, we can invest a lot of time in that person and it's proven to be reliable. Let's go. When the answer is no, we don't waste time, we move on.
We're heading towards a future where we're seeing a lot less human beings serving other human beings because it can be done using artificial intelligence.
There's a lot of change that's already happened. It's underway, and just like your friends and the 80 people who were let go, it's definitely happening. I think we need to wake up. It's happening, and it'll take reskilling. Sometimes it'll be a real hard change, reset, get going, but it's coming. And so pretty much everybody is going to be impacted. This is an alarm call to get ready.
I would always start with, you've got to help the customer, I think, understand the value of cybersecurity. Like whether it's my product or that service, at the end of the day, if you don't think cybersecurity is a thing, then you're never going to buy my product. I'll always start with, what pain are you in? Now, cyber can be seen as a little bit like insurance. Well, it's like there's no guarantee it will happen, but you always need something there just in case it does happen. What happens if you couldn't use any of your laptops for the next week? And in fact, all of them became defunct. The hard drives were written off and everything that was on those machines was gone. Could your business operate? Could your business operate?
If we're screwed, that's it.
How important is having a social media presence for financial advisors? What platforms have you used to promote yourself as a financial advisor?
And I would say it is super, super important because this is a way for you to establish yourself as a thought leader in the industry. Like, how do you expect people to reach out to you if they don't know what you do? And what I do is, of course, I determine what my core competence is.
That's the core of the vision, is of a learner-centered world where anybody can learn anything as fast as is humanly possible and will then be recognized everywhere. Because currently the ways that employers have of recognizing learning are imperfect proxies. Things like a university degree is a very poor measure of what somebody has learned. And it's an even worse measure of how good a learner they are. All of those things can be combined to form a signal of, this guy is an amazing learner. This woman is a thoughtful learner. This person is resourceful. That person is resilient and doesn't give up. So that we've got a granular record that employers can look at and go, well, we know what this person's skill set and attitude is like. So that's the story of how we came to that vision.
So the big change, I feel, is it's a risk discussion for sure. What's the probability of maybe an attack happening and hurting us? And prior to May 2017, a lot of it was data loss. What happens if I lost some data? I couldn't access some data. What happens if it's now is actually I shut your business down? What happens if every machine that's associated with you now becomes defunct and you can't operate it for a day, a week, 2 weeks, a month? Now, the only person who knows that value is you, right? How important is that to you? And then that helps drive the conversation around investment. We would be really in trouble, okay? Like we would need to have, okay, so now you need a bit of a cyber strategy. Okay, what do we need to invest in? And so I wouldn't come in and say, buy my product. My first place would be start with where you are. What do you have? How important is it? Like, what's the risk profile? Because this is a business continuity issue. This is not, yes, cyber's a part of it, but there's many, many things that could shut businesses down, right? And what happens if we were shut down with some for a cyber attack? And then how do we respond to that? And then ultimately that starts driving your investment.